Good morning, students. Very good morning. Today I am going to explain about the new lesson, that is vegetative morphology, part 1. Okay. So in this vegetative morphology, as I told you, I explained you in the online class itself. Vegetation, it's the morphology of vegetation. What is vegetation? The parts which do not involve in the sexual reproduction of plants is called vegetative reproduction. That is, if you are taking the part of the plant, that is flower, will follow only the sexual reproduction, but other parts like root, stem, leaves and but everything will follow up only the vegetative reproduction, that is asexual mode of reproduction. Okay, so that vegetative reproduction is brought by root, stem, leaf only. So these three parts only we are going to learn about in detailing. So plant and their habit and their habitat I have already explained you in the online class. Today I am going to explain about lifespan. What is the lifespan? It's classified into three types. That is annual, biennial, perennial. Annual means the plant which can grow only 1 year. Okay, it grow once in a year. Okay, so its lifespan is only 1 year. After 1 year it is get destroyed. Biennial means it's just 6 months plant. Okay, in a year it can able to grow at 2 times. Okay, so first 6 months it grows and destroy, next 6 months it starts grow and destroys. That is biennial. Perennial means the all plants or the trees which is grow after the 2 years, that is more than the 2 years, is called perennial. Next I am coming to the continuation, that is types. Okay, so mesophytes, xerophytes, psammophytes, lithophytes. What is called mesophytes? Mesophytes is nothing but the growing in soil with sufficient water. That is, the plant which is growing in the soil with the sufficient water is called mesophytes. That is, our normal land living plants are called mesophytes. Example, Azadirachta indica, that is neem tree they are telling. And xerophytes is growing on the dry habits like deserts and the place where the water will not be there. Okay, so that is xerophytes. Next I am coming to the example, Opuntia and Euphorbia. Psammophytes means the plants which is growing in the sand. Example, Ipomyapis capre and Spinifex littoralis. Okay, so lithophytes means the plants which is growing on the rock. Example, many algae, lichens and ficus species will come under that. Next, this is just about the terrestrial habitat. Next, about the aquatic habitat. Aquatic habitat means the plating, that is free floating submerged. Free floating submerged emergent float-lived mangroves. Free floating means the plant which is freely moving in the water. That means the plant, root, stem, everything is floating in the water. Example, it's growing only on the water surface. Example, Icania, Trapha, Pistia and Lamna. Submerged means the plant which is growing completely underwater. That is, plant which is growing completely underwater is called submerged. Okay, so what is this called? Submerged. Next is Hydrilla and Valsinaria. What is that called? Hydrilla or the Valsinaria. Okay, that is submerged means the plant which is completely growing under the water. So it is called the water. So its root and everything will be under the water, but the root is not present below the soil or the sand or the mud of the water. So its full complete plant is not floating, it is present below the water surface. That is Hydrilla valsinaria. Emergent means plant with the root or the stem which is anchored to the substrate underwater. That is, under the water and aerial shoots growing above the water. Some part of the stem is growing above the water, and that is a quarter part of the stem and leaf will be present above the surface of the water, and the remaining the 3/4 of the plant, its stem, root, everything is present just under the water. Example, Liminopyton and Tipa. Okay, next I am coming to the floating leaved means anchored at the bottom. That is, which is anchored at the bottom but with the floating leaves. Okay, floating leaves, you can take it as example of Neelambu and Nymphia. Neelambu nymphaea means that is lotus and lily only. So if you are taking a lotus or the lily plant, that is definitely it will growing the leaves of the lotus, and lotus flower you can see in the water above the surface, but its total part is present below the water, that is under the water. Mangroves means plants growing emergent in the marshy saline habitat. The plant which is growing under the high concentration of sodium chloride water, that is high concentration of water, is called this thing. Okay, example Avicennia and Rhizophora. Example Avicennia and Rhizophora. Again you will read this same in the upcoming chapters. Next I am coming to the continuation. The annual biennial is it's a plant which is completes its life cycle in one season in a 1 year. Example, it's also called theophyte or the abnormal. Example peas, maize, watermelon, groundnut, sunflower. Biennial, two seasons it has. In one season it's vegetatively growing, that is its root, stem, everything will be growing in one season. In another season it is definitely it gives the flowers, fruits and all those things like buds it will give. The perennial means it's nothing but the plant, it's also called geophytes. Geophytes means the plant which is growing under the, it's growing more than 2 years is called perennial. So example perennial, that is polycarpic kind of trees which is growing that so it is called polycarpic. Why it is called polycarpic means nothing but example mango, sapota, some plants produce the plants, fruits and flowers once in year after the year, so that it is called polycarpic. So example you can take it as mango we can get only in the May month only, and sapota also you will be getting a particular month only. Mango you will be getting a summer season only. So in seasonal wise you will be getting these kind of fruits is called monocarpic. Polycarpic means if you are taking a banana which is present overall the ever and ever full throughout the year you will be getting a banana. So there is no season for the banana, so it is called polycarpic. So polycarpic example is musa, that is our banana tree, and as well as agave, that is aloe vera, bamboo, telepod palm, everything, all those things. Next I am coming to the parts of the flowering plants. Flowering plants are called angiosperms or the mangliophytes. What is this called? Angiosperms or the mangliophytes. So flowering plants it's also called angiosperm, that you have studied in the lower classes, consisting of your axis with an underground root system and serial shoot system. Root system means the root and their branches, lateral branches is called root system. Shoot system means this is your shoot system, this is your root system. If you are taking this root part, that is primary part is there. Primary part is arranging along with the secondary part which is present below the soil is called the root, that is, so its lateral branches is called root system. Shoot system means stem and their buds and their leaf and their young branch and their older branch, everything is called as shoot system. So this is about the shoot system. This is a just diagram that I am showing you what are all the parts which is present in the plant, that is this is flower, this is leaf, this is bud, stem, shoot, root, everything. So next I am coming to the root system. You have seen in many plants root system is a non-green cylindrical descending axis. Yes, it's of course it's presenting just below to the soil. That means you know that it is going anti-gravitational direction. So always plant is growing as an anti-gravitational direction. It's growing towards the sun. It's growing towards the sky, that you know, right? But if you are taking a root only, root it is going downwards. Okay, it's going along with the geophytes. It's loving and it's growing along with the earth deep and deep, depth and depth. Okay, right and right. So this is this is a root system important. So it is also called positively geotrophic. Why it is called positively geotrophic? Definitely I will ask you the question, what is positively geotrophic? The meaning of that, so listen carefully. So the root which is going past soil, it is going under and under, it is going depth and depth because it's growing along with the gravitational forces. Okay, so it is called positive geotrophic. If you are taking a shoot system, that is growing a negative geotrophic. Okay, so it develops from the radical, which is a radical means nothing but from the seed only you will be getting a whole plant. So seed having a particular part for the root, that is radical is a small part present in the shoot, from that only your root is emerges. and likewise plumule is a part which is present in the seed that is also giving a shoot system, which is responsible for the absorption of water, nutrient and anchoring of the plant. Characteristic features of the plant, that is root is descending portion of the plant axis and generally non-green in color as it is lacks the chlorophyll. Yes, it lacks the chlorophyll because it does not, it is in the brown in color, okay, and it is not in the descent, it is a descending portion. So if you are taking that, the plant always stem is always towards its downwards or the descending wards by the roots, okay. It do not possess the nodes and internodes or buds. So in the root you will not appreciate the nodes and internodes. Nodes and internodes means nothing but we can say the stem in the simple part, okay. ஒரு சின்ன சின்ன போர்ஷனாக தான் நம்ம வந்து ஸ்டெம்மை படிப்போம். ஸ்மால் போர்ஷன் ஸ்டெம் இருக்குது அப்படின்னா அந்த ஸ்டெம்மோட ஒரு பார்ட்டையும் என்ன சொல்லுவாங்க அப்படின்னா பட்டு சொல்லுவாங்க, நோடு சொல்லுவாங்க. ஃப்ரம் திஸ் டு ஹியர் ஒன் நோட், another node. So in between the two node is called internode. So one node, from here to here one node. So in between the nodes is called internode, okay. So this is about your internode and buds means that is the flowering, future flowers is called buds, okay. Except to sweet potato and members of the Rutaceae, roots bears buds which will help of the vegetative propagation. Sometimes root may bears the buds in the exceptional case like sweet potatoes. Next I'm coming to the it bears the root has to absorb the water as well as the minerals from the soil. Root has means the sum of the root will be very minute, it's like our hair like structure, so that it is called a root has, which is used to absorb the minerals mainly from the soil, and it is positively geotrophic, negatively phototropic because it does not have chlorophyll, it does not do any chlorophyll action. Regions of the roots, if you are taking the root is definitely, the root tip is definitely covered with the root cap. It protects the meristematic cells in the apex. In Pandas, multiple root cap is present. In Pistia, instead of root cap, the root packet is present a few millimeters above. So that is example. Pistia is nothing but it is a plant, water plant only, that is it's a freely floating plant. In that plant there is no root cap. Instead of the root cap, it is having a root packet. Root packet is differ from the root cap, that you will be read in the next year detailing. Next I am coming to the regions of root. The root tip is covered by root cap, same thing I have written here. Next I am coming to the root cap is the following three distinct zones, that is root hair. This is a root hair, and this is a region of the cells is matured. This is a region of the root, that is for the cell elongation. This is a region of the cell division and root cap. So meristematic zone, zone of elongation, zone of maturation. So the root zones, that is if you are taking the position, that is it lies above the root cap, is called meristematic zone. That is very tip, very minute, and at the end most edge of the root, or the tip of the root is called meristematic zone. In that zone, that is it's covered by root cap. Zone of elongation, it lies above the meristematic zone. Zone of maturation, it lies above the zone of elongation. Types of cells, that is meristematic cells, actively divide and continuously increases in the number. So here if you are taking the middle part of the root is elongated cells and it is mature differentiated. Type of cells, meristematic cells. Here the elongated cells is there. Here differentiated cells like a stem cells is differentiated from here. Root cells is get differentiated. Functions, this is the main growing tip of the roots. The cells increases in the length and cause the enlargement of root. The cell differentiate into various tissues like epidermis, cortex, vascular bundles, and it also produces the root hair which absorb the water's minerals from the soil. Taproot system means primary root is direct prolongation of the radicle. When the primary root is persist and the continues to grow as a dicotyledon, it forms a root is called taproot. Taproot is produced lateral root for the further branches into finer roots. The lateral root along with its branches together is called secondary root. Adventitious root is the root which is developed from the part of the plant other than the radicle is called adventitious root. So this is a monocot root always give you a fibrous root, and the dicot plant will always give you the taproot system. Taproot is elongated from the radicle of the seed and which is a main branch of the root. From this the root is emerging. So this is a primary root, and these are all the lateral branches, and root has arising from the primary root is called secondary root. Okay, and also it is developed from the if you are taking the fibrous root which is developing from the other than the stem part is called other than the root part is called other than the radical part of the seed is called fibrous root. In this root which is arising from the node or the internode of the base of the node of the internode of the plant. Okay, example Monstera delicosa, Ficus bengalensis, Piper nicrum are in the most monocots. Primary root of seedling is short lived and lateral roots arises from the various regions of the plant body. Okay, and these roots are thread-like structures equal in the size were collectively called fibrous root system, generally found in the grasses, and it's also examined in the Oryza sativa, Flusing, Carcana and Pinistum americanum. So these are all the example of fibrous root, and this is the example of taproot system. What is the function of root? You know that it has a two function, primary and secondary function. Primary function, you know that already absorb the water and minerals from the soil. It helps to anchor the plant firmly in the soil. The secondary function means in some plants roots performs the additional function. They are called the secondary function. To perform the additional functions, these roots are modified. Secondary function means the root its structure is get modified so that it is called a secondary function. So taproot modification will give you a storage root, breathing root. Storage root means if it is the root is become a conical in their shape because of storing of starch like items, starch like any organic substances is called conical root. Fusiform root is example. Conical root example is carrot. That is carrot you can take. Dacans. Next, fusiform means that is nothing but it's your beetroot, Beta vulgaris, and nephium means that is a Raphanus sativus, that is your radish. So these are all the structural modification of the root by storing of some organic substances. So it is called in the conical form, fusiform form and nephiform. From this only we will be getting a vegetables. That is taproot modification. Breathing root means Avicennia, I told you, the plant which is growing under the saline water. That I will explain you. Okay. Next, storage. These are all the thing will be see detailing. Adventitious root modification. Storage, mechanical support, vital function. Tuberous root, fasciculated root, nodulous root, moniliform root and annulated root. Next, prop root, stilt root, climbing root, buttress root, epiphytic root, foliar root, sucking root, photosynthetic root. Next, modification of root. Modification of root is nothing but that is the tap root modification, that is conical root is example. There are a broad like cone like broad at the base, and when it is coming to the tip, that is it's like tapering and it becomes a apex is called the dacus carota. So next, fusiform root is nothing but these roots are swell in the middle and tapering at the towards the both end. If you are taking this upper end and the lower end, both the end will be in the tapering, that is it will be in the thin in size, but if you are taking the middle part, it is in the broad in that, so that it is called Raphanus sativus. If you are taking a nephiform root, it is very broad and suddenly it tapers like a tail like at the apex, that is example Beta vulgaris. I am coming to seeing you that this is a conical root of the diagram, that is our carrot we will be making from this. Carrot will be making from the storage root, that is if you are taking this apex base part is this and nodes. And two things is a fusiform, both the part is tapering, the middle part is broad one, and this is suddenly it is broader and suddenly it becomes the tapering is called nephiform Beta vulgaris, Raphanus sativus, Dacus carota. Okay. So next, breathing root is nothing but some mangroves or some salt living plants like Avicennia and Rhizophora, Bruguria develop the special kinds of roots like a negatively geotrophic. I told you roots are generally a positive geotrophic because it grows in the direction towards their gravity. okay, towards the gravity. But if you are taking Avicennia, it is growing to the anti-directional or the anti-gravitational or the negatively geographic plants, which is growing from the root and towards the sky, and it has some small pores. Why it need pores means for a breathing purpose. It needs to some gases exchanges in between the pores of the root, so that the root will be growing in the anti-gravitational and the negative geographic things. Okay, so these holes present in the roots is called pneumatophores or the breathing pores. Next, adventitious root modification means this is the same thing, the tuberous root, fasciculated, nodulus. So just now I explained you about taproot modification, conical root, fusiform root and napiform root, napiform, fusiform and conical. Now I am coming to the adventitious root modification like tuberous root, fasciculated root, nodulus root and moniliform and annulated. Tuberous root means these roots are swollen and it is without any definite shape. Example, Hypomia batus. Hypomia batus means that is our sugar beet only. Okay, so it does not have any shape. If you are taking even all the fruits, okay, all fruit or the all vegetable you are taking this, they will not fix with one shape, so that it is called Hypomia batus. Okay, it is called the Hypomia batus. These roots are swollen without any definite shape, so it does not have any shape, is called tuberous root. Okay, tuberous roots are produced singly or not in the clusters. Okay, example, Hypomia batus. And fasciculated means the roots which is growing in the cluster from the base of the stem. Example, Dahlia, asparagus and Rulia. So this is the if you are taking this Dahlia diagram, the from the base of the stem, base of the root, the all will be growing as a clusters. That is an example of Dahlia. Next I am coming to the nodulus root. It's a type of swelling occurs only in the near tips. Okay, so if you are taking this kind of the roots, at the tip of the root you will be having some swollen parts, that is the maranta or the arrowroot or the curcuma amada and curcuma langa. So curcuma langa means turmeric and curcuma amada means mango ginger, that is mainji solluvaanga. So these will have the nodulus root, that is the swelling takes place only at the tip of this plant. Okay, if you are taking this plant only at the tip of this root you will be having a swelling part, is called curcuma langa and curcuma amada. Okay, so next I am coming to the annulated moniliform or the beaded root. So the roots is swollen at frequent intervals, giving them some beaded appearances. Totally if you are taking that plant fruit, it has some beaded appearance here and there with the regular interval or irregular interval. Examples is Vitis, Portula and Momaridica and Indian spinach. Okay, an annulated root means the roots have series of ring-like swelling on their surface or the regular intervals. Example, Ipmuc, that is Psychotria. It has some regular interval, you can see here. Next I am coming to the mechanical support of the adventitious root modification. Now just I explained you storage modification of the taproot system with the conical root and fusiform and napiform. And now I am coming to the storage root of the tuberous and fasciculated, nodulated, moniliform, annulated, and now I am going to explain about the mechanical support of the adventitious root modification, that is proper root or the pillar root. The roots which is growing vertically downwards from the lateral branches in the soil is called example Ficus bengalensis. Example, that is banyan tree or the Indian rubber. Banyan tree or the Indian rubber or the example of the proper pillar root. Okay, so stilted root means brace root. It is also called brace root. Why? Because of if you are taking this root, it's obliquely from the basal node of the main stem. This provide the mechanical support. Example, Saccharum officinarum, Zemace and Pandanus and Rhizophora. So this is Ficus bengalensis. That is, it's give you the nice support to the plant. The tree will get heavy support because of this Ficus bengalensis lina. அந்த பிளான்ட்டோட விழுதுனால இந்த பிளான்ட்டுக்கு ஒரு நல்ல சப்போர்ட் கிடைக்குது. And also Saccharum officinarum, Rhizophora, if you are taking this, the base of the node will grow, it will give the oblique shape of the oblique shape, obliquely growing obliquely from the basal node of the main stem is called stillet root or the brace root. Next, climbing root or the clasping root or the clunging root means these roots are produced from the nodes of stem which attach themselves to support and helping in climbing. Okay, so it means that is the clunging root or the clasping root means it produces nodes of stem which attaches themselves to support and helps in climbing. To ensure the foothold on the support, the secrete the sticky juices which dries up in the air and attaching the root to this thing. So its climbing root means it's going to climb with the help of its roots. It's climbing something with the support and it is climbing, growing. So this is example, and it secretes some sticky juices which is get dried in during this time. Okay, example, Epiprenum pinnatum piper battle, that is Vethala, Ficus plumolia and money plant, that is Epipremium pinnatum means money plant, that is we are keeping in our home for the showing purpose or the ornamental plants we can say, right? So next, buttress root means in certain trees broad plank like outgrowth is developed towards the base, and Hypomia batus, Dahalia maranta and Psychotria. So this is just if you are taking this plant, the plant which is giving a broad plank like means somewhat it is flattened and very broad outgrowth is takes place from the towards the down, it is giving a heavy support to the plant. Next, I am coming to that's all about the adventitious root storage function and mechanical function. Next, I am coming to the continuations of the vital function of the root. So root is epiphytic or the velamen root. This is very important 3 marks question for you. Listen carefully. Some epiphytic orchids like some grasses develops a special kind of aerial roots, that is a root above the soil is called aerial roots, that is freely hanging in the air. So that kind of a root will absorb the spongy in nature. That kind of the root, if you are taking that, very sponge, very soft in nature, so that it can able to absorb the moisture from the surrounding air is called epiphytic air. Example, Vanda, Dendrobium and Aerates. Okay, foliar root means roots are produced from the veins or the lamina of the leaf for the formation of new plant. Example, Bryopylum, Begonia, Zamioculus. Okay, so these are all the Bryopylum means that you have seen in our school campus. Will be having this kind of plant, that is Bryopylum, Begonia. I will show you one day. Okay, the Bryopylum, Begonia and Zamioculus will develop there. From these kind of plants, having the leaf, from the leaf you will be getting a small leaf, that is new leaf buds you will be getting from this leaf. From the parent leaf you will be getting a daughter leaf, that is a daughter bud from the leaf. The leaf itself, the foliar meaning is leaf. Okay, leaf will give some roots, so that it is called foliar means leaf. Leaf will give you the root. From that leaf of the root will give you the new bud. Okay, so this is the main thing. And velamen means nothing but epiphytic root. So the plant which is growing on the one plant which is growing on the another plant. So this plant which is growing on the another plant, the plant which is depending on the another plant, it does not depend on the food or water on the growing plant. It is just taking a support from the host plant, so that it is nicely growing. And also it's soft in nature, so it absorbs the water from the moisture and it is growing well. So it's a velamen root or epiphytic root. Next, I am coming to the sucking or the hostial roots means these roots are the found in the parasitic plants, that is parasites develop adventitious root from the stem which penetrates into tissue of the host plant and suck nutrients. Okay, so sucking or the hostial root means it is going to sucking something. So some plants are the parasitic plant. This plant is growing. Parasites develop the adventitious root from the stem of the. Okay, so it is these kind of the plants will develop the adventitious root. What is adventitious root? I have explained you in the previous slides. So go and once again repeat that slide. You will be understand. So adventitious root is nothing but it's developed the root from the base of the internode. Okay, base of the stem of the plant. Base of the stem of the plant. It is the base of the internode of the node of the plant. It is developed, and that kind of the adventitious root is penetrating the another plant and absorb or the suck the nutrients from that plant. That kind of plant is called parasitical plant or the sucking or the hostial root plants. Okay, example cuscuta or the dodder and Cassia and Orbanki or the broom merpi and Viscum mistoli dendropathy. These are all the parasitic plant or the hostial root or the sucking root example plants. Next, photosynthetic and assimilatory roots. Roots of some climbing or the epiphytic plant develop the chlorophyll and turn green, which helps in the photosynthesis. Example Tinospora, Traponatans and Taniopilum. So these are all the plant which is root is become climbing as a green in color. It is a climbers. Kodi mari pogum. When it is climbing, it is slowly changes to a green in color, so that it is doing a photosynthesis process. Next, shoot system. So that's all about your root system. So thank you, students. So up to this, learn this video, watch again and again, so that you'll be getting an idea from the root system. Thank you.